We're going to take you live to the Bloor and Lansdowne area where police are providing an update after a homicide overnight. Let's listen in.
And was pronounced deceased following his arrival. A second male was had attended the hospital, also suffering from gunshot wounds, non-life-threatening, and we're in the process of trying to determine if there's any direct connection to this particular homicide. And that person, again, it's early stages of the investigation. So we still have a lot of information to go through to make the determination if there's any connection to the homicide that occurred here early this morning.
Where did the shooting happen? Outside of a home here on the street?
So I can't get into specifics again. This is very early stages. It did happen up the street. Did happen up the street just from this location, yes. As far as the direct location where they were at the time when the shooting occurred, again, it's still too early to tell.
There just seems to be focus on that porch over there. Did the person who was shot come from that home?
Well, we do believe that there's an association between where the shooting occurred and the front of the residence, but the whole area is a crime scene. The reason being is we do a thorough examination of the immediate area, but again, it's a collection of evidence will determine exactly where the person was, and then we'll proceed from there.
Where was the victim found?
Well, again, just
on the street.
Well, again, it's early to tell. Can't get into too many specifics about where the person was exactly located. That comes from corroboration through the evidence that we collect.
Why is it you're having a hard time determining the person who made his way to hospital, if he's connected to this scene? Is he cooperating?
It's still early in the investigation. We're making attempts to try to determine if there is a direct connection in relation to the homicide itself. So keep in mind, we're trying to determine if the other person is involved in the actual homicide that we're investigating. What his role or how he is involved is yet to be determined. I can't give specifics because it's too early in the investigation. I will tell you that as time progresses, we will provide you more information in relation to any involvement or direct involvement as far as the other person is concerned.
Any information about an Airbnb? This house that seems to be roped off?
Again, it's too early for me to tell to confirm that information.
Was there a fight or something that was happening before the gunshots went off?
Again, I can't give out too many specifics because I want to be sure on the information I provide you is corroborated. So, and this is the very early stages of the case.
Reason to believe a vehicle may have left the scene, or what do you want people to look out for?
So the important thing is that this is the area here, it occurred right up the street, and the important thing is that anyone who may find anything discarded near their house that might be of concern, cameras are always important. If anyone in this area has some cameras, take a look to see if it catches anything unusual or anything along the street here is obviously of great importance to notify the Toronto Police, and for us to have a look at it would be important to our case.
Multiple gunshots? Neighbors say they heard a couple. Is that what you're hearing? Or?
We have to confirm it. Sometimes it's the case, sometimes it's not. I can't confirm yes or no. Again, it's just early stages of the investigation.
Anything else you can tell us about the victim? He's in his 20s. Is he from here? Is he exactly?
So we're going through the process of notifying next of kin. So again, too early to tell. When I do have confirmation on the information and next of kin notified, then what we'll do is we'll let you know.
Was there a group of people out here? Obviously, there's the one who walked into hospital that may be connected to this, the man who was killed. Were there more people out here when those shots went off? Do you think that some people may have fled the scene?
Well, that's always important. It's a good question. It's always important, not just for the purposes of the camera, that any witnesses that may have seen anything. There are people who do speak to police on scene, but we always encourage anyone who has any information, anyone who had seen anything of relevance, to contact the police. We'd be interested in speaking with them.
I mean, how lucky, if you look in this neighborhood, it's just lined with houses.
Yes.
How lucky, just for shots to ring out, just how lucky or the residents here that, I mean, a bullet could have gone through a window or something like that.
Yeah, and it happens. You know, it's very fortunate. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I would say more. You know, anytime there's gunfire in a neighborhood, it could be. It's always a concern, right? It's a small neighborhood, and when this kind of thing happens, it's disconcerting. But at the same time, we're still investigating it. We're going to make every effort to try to determine who's the person responsible.
So no suspect description or anything else? No arrests?
No arrests in relation to this homicide. We are in the process of trying to determine if there's anything video, image-wise, that we can produce to the media in order to disseminate. If we do, and we'll be happy to provide it to you.
Have you spoken to the people who live in that home? The one that, again, is sort of the center?
It's still under investigation. We're still trying to collect information from witnesses and so forth.
So we just see multiple mailboxes. Like, do a lot of people live in that home?
Again, we're still trying to make that determination.
You don't know if it's where the person collapsed?
Still too early. Still too early. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for your time.
All right, that's the latest from Toronto Police this morning as they update their investigation into the fatal shooting of a man overnight in the Bloor and Lansdowne area. This is a live look of that scene. This happened in a residential area. Lots of homes there. You can see the scene has been blocked off. Officers called there around 2 a.m. for reports of gunshots heard. A man in his 20s was found on scene suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he later died. We're now learning that a second male had walked into a hospital also suffering from gunshot wounds, and investigators are really in the process of determining if there is a direct connection to the homicide. They're trying to determine if that second man was in some way involved in this homicide. They are looking for witnesses to come forward.